Hey everybody, welcome to Basically Sci-Fi, the short story writing show featuring two stories of what you can basically call sci-fi. My name's Todd.
And I'm Jared.
Hey Jared, how's it going?
Oh, not bad, you?
Oh yeah, I'm doing pretty well, because I'm really stoked about the story this week.
Oh?
Oh yeah, because
Sweet.
I have been wanting to work on my, voice acting skills.
Yeah.
And so I've got characters in this story where I've got some interesting voices planned out.
That should be fun.
I hope so. I hope so. I was talking with a friend of mine, and we were talking about, voice techniques. And so, because at the school we both work at, I often have to, read example conversations that are prepping people for their English ability test.
Oh.
And so when I do those, I have to, I have to differentiate the two characters who are speaking. And my first instinct always is to have, because I don't know if you know this about me, but I have a kind of low voice.
Yeah, I noticed.
So, I have a tendency to either just go even lower with my voice or, go higher. Those are my first instincts when I try to, make a new character.
Yeah.
And, I think I need to integrate some nasal sounds or some guttural sounds as well.
Yeah.
But then there's also things to consider, like just cadence. Different characters might have different speaking patterns, which I usually try to convey in my writing. But I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. As you may have noticed, I'm shit at voice acting, so I don't make any effort whatsoever.
Well, that's the thing. You haven't made any effort.
Because I'm not good at it.
Well, but you have a distinct voice on your own already.
Yeah. By that you mean an obnoxious one, but
I don't. I mean, I don't want to get too too sappy here, but it's not like you've got a hey, this is Evil Loves kind of voice,
Yeah.
You don't have a really nasally kid voice, so.
No, it's distinct, but like I said, I've never been any good at acting, as you well know. That's why I always stuck to tech and theater. So,
well, that's the thing.
I just don't put the effort in. As shitty as that may be.
We did acting together. I mean, you were in the chorus usually.
Yeah, I was in chorus. I can sing, but I'm not going to sing my stories. Nobody wants that either.
Well, singing is basically voice acting.
Sort of.
I mean, it's not using, I guess just real briefly to make a point instead of just throwing that out of nowhere. So Japanese voice acting is kind of a big deal over here.
Oh.
Like in America, when you have a big budget TV show or movie, they usually just get people who are already famous actors. So they'll be featuring the voice of Johnny Depp's penis.
Yeah.
But over here, they've got people who are legit only voice actors, and yet people are still they know that person, they love that person.
Yeah.
They get people who just do voice acting, which is a totally different skill. But then those people, they don't do live action movies or TV show acting on the side. Their side projects are singing. They usually have their own music.
Huh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it kind of goes hand in hand. So
I suppose.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I hope that you will nurture your gift of having a good voice. And and grace me with some voice-acted characters.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. I'm not worried. Well, hey guys. Welcome to Same Old, Same Old.
Yeah.
I'm excited about my characters' voices, because I'm gonna give it my darndest.
As usual.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my characters are not directly related to the prompts, which, can you remind me what they were?
It was teleporters and invasions this week.
Yeah. I did use both of those in my story.
Yeah, I think I didn't use invasion. I think I put it out, like, I set it up, but it's a pretty long story as it is, and so I didn't want to push my luck with the duration.
Right.
So I just bumped the everything's set up for the invasion, but it's bumped to the next episode before it actually happens.
Yeah, well, the prompts are supposed to be there to give us some guidelines and a direction for the story, so as long as your story is affected by the prompts, I think it still counts.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I don't want to get fired.
Huh? Do I have that power? I thought you were the boss.
We'll flip a coin.
Or let's just put Tomo in charge.
Yeah.
Say that.
Yeah.
Welcome to the very first episode produced by my wife. Which you can obviously tell from the production values of this episode.
It's kind of shit.
Well, maybe we'll invest some money into it eventually. But for now, we've got these high-grade stories of B-grade sci-fi.
Yep.
Yeah. Because we've got some kind of format, I guess I'll read my story first.
Sure.
Yep, which is, so, my story about teleporters and invasions is called Judging People Based on How They Look is Kind of a Weird Thing. That's the title.
Yeah.
Let us pray. All the monks bowed their heads. O great two-faced god of balance, he who hears both sides, many sides, sides unseen, he who differentiates that from that which is not. May we always and yet never have peace. May the great be humbled, and the humbled rise from the ashes of despondency. May the... Sitting towards the back of the crowd of monks and refugees who had gathered to hear the sermon, 4 cloaked figures snickered and played with their phones. Their faces and features were hidden under their robes, but hopefully their voices were distinct and recognizable by now.
Hopefully.
When am I gonna get a phone? I want to clash with Vikings and see boobs on a whim. Shh! That is still not really the point of having a phone. Just wait till the sermon is finished. Gee, lady, I don't think he would have just imagined the purpose of a phone on his own. I have also seen other humans using phones to whittle away their lives and look at boobs. I also do those things because I'm human. Quiet, humans! You're going to get us kicked out! It was this 4th voice, the loudest one. The one that was perhaps not as distinct because she wasn't really given a particularly distinct voice until now, that caught the attention of the head monk. Oh, great two-faced god of balance, we ask you why those cloaked refugees in the back want to disrupt our platitudes unto you. Perhaps any who threw them out would earn your favor. Perhaps they wouldn't have to worry about any legal fees. Perhaps you would encourage violence unto them. The monks of the planet Zen are not opposed to violence. On the planet at the center of the universe, believers from all stripes were invited to join both in service to and open rebellion against the two-faced god of balance, Satesus. This god didn't actually exist because no gods actually exist, but he was often used as an excuse for erratic behavior and for holding seemingly opposing beliefs. For no apparent reason, one of the four cloaked figures adopted an Appalachian hillbilly accent and yelled, "We gots to skedaddle, y'all! Skedaddle for your life! These monks is plumb crazy and itching for our hides!" Planet Zen is a small planet, mostly covered in desert and lacking in civilization, except for the two cities of Light and Dark. "And now that we done been kicked out of the City of Light, our only choice is to try and find a vehicle capable of teleportation in that there City of Dark." Having reached the desert outside the City of Light, the four cloaked figures finally removed their hoods and revealed themselves to be Ari, Nova, Iggy88, and Zephos, the invader intern from the Galactic Society of Friends. Not a huge shock. Except maybe Zephos, now that she has a bit more characterization. From the shadow of the city, a mysterious, hunchbacked vagrant called out to the four, "You four seek passage to the City of Dark!" Ari, lacking in common sense and therefore being the least cautious of strangers, was the first to respond. "Yes, good sir, though honestly it is not truly the city we seek, but a teleporting vehicle. We sought aid from the head monk of the City of Light, but seem to have accidentally offended him." The stranger smiled. "Seems about time the head monk took some time off in the dark as well. He hasn't indulged in his darker needs for some time and should be cleansed." The stranger crab-walked over to what appeared to be a manhole. "Follow me, yes, follow, old Ragfucker. Do not ask this one how he got his name. It is a very short story about fucking a rag." Nova couldn't help herself. "Ragfucker, can I ask a question real quick?" Ragfucker frowned. "Is it about this one's name?" "No, it's just that Ari is pretty dumb, and I don't feel like I should let him make any decisions by himself about following you down a creepy manhole. My question is, do you know for certain if we can find a vehicle capable of teleportation in this City of Dark?" Ragfucker wheezed out a laugh. "Oh, most assuredly, for you see, the city is quite dangerous, and many who become lost in the city quickly find themselves in desperate need of escape. It is only fair that all manner of transportation be kept there." Nova frowned. "That does make sense in a way." Zephos grabbed her space saber and thrust it into the air dramatically. "Let us make haste! There is no time to lose!" And with that, Zephos leapt sword first into the open manhole. Nova sighed and looked to Iggy88, who shrugged, but also leapt into the manhole because he lacks the capacity to doubt. With mounting desperation, she looked towards Ari, but then sighed again as she noticed he was fumbling with his space saber, trying to figure out how to turn it on again so he too could strike a pose. "Please don't. You're just gonna hurt someone." Ari nodded, and then tripped into the manhole decidedly undramatically. "It's just you and me now, girl. Do you want to watch this one fuck an oily rag?"
Yes.
The rag fucking didn't take long, and within minutes, Nova also leapt down the manhole. The hole was extremely ancient. Back before teleportation had been discovered, portals such as these were commonly used to traverse far distances along planets. Simply constructed using a tarp and running water, these transcontinental slip-and-slides could sometimes still be found on less advanced planets, or at children's birthday parties. After what seemed like hours, there was no light at the end of the tunnel, just the City of Dark, and a towel rack to dry off after a long, hard, wet, and bumpy for her pleasure journey. There was also a cooler of Gatorade. People were fucking dying everywhere. After spending too much time in the City of Light, many monks found themselves a bit backed up and in desperate need of release. Seeking balance in all things, if they ever thought their lives were going too well, they could just slip and slide on down to the underground City of Dark to purge and just generally ruin their lives again. Usually, in space, when one feels like they need to ruin their life, they can just go to a job they hate, complain day in and day out to their coworkers, go home and decide to look for a new job, start a hobby or maybe a podcast, but then just jack off and play video games instead.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yep. Video games are illegal on Zen, but purging in the City of Dark was a pretty decent alternative. And while indeed a good place to ruin one's life, Ragfucker neglected to mention one detail about the city which definitely made Dark a bad place to attempt teleportation. A major detail, which, if you've been paying attention to the omniscient narrator and the stories up until now, you might be able to realize on your own. I'll give you a minute. No?
No.
Okay. Dark is underground? Nova, Eri, Iggy, and Zephos said simultaneously because they all got it. If we tried to teleport out of here, we would just bump our heads on the ceiling. Eri said, getting it for maybe the first time. There might be hope for him to live in a sci-fi universe just yet. The City of Dark didn't necessarily sound like it was going to be a nice place, but this city was mostly in ruins. Buildings crumbled all around, mirroring the lives of the monks who willingly scraped and crawled, begged and killed just to survive. Every road in Dark leads to exactly nowhere, twisting and winding, serpentine and labyrinthian like their souls. Also, everything was on fire, which was supposed to mirror, like, their burning passion? Or something. Iggy88 cocked his head to the side and pointed out the obvious. So if this is a city, do they have, like, an economy, infrastructure, law enforcement, or any of those staples of normal civilization? Eri laughed and audibly shrugged. Those things don't make a city. Iggy cocked his head further. No, any city has a ruler. Let's just find their lord and get transportation from him. Same plan as before, just now we'll probably be dealing with a dark monk or whatever. Nova slapped Eri on his broad, sexy shoulders. Hey, that's a pretty astute assessment of our situation. This whole thing does have kind of a fantasy feel about it. Maybe we should leave this one up to you. Eri peeked at an orgy of blood-soaked monks under one of the burning ruins down the street. This has been a fantasy of mine for a while. He then began to unbutton his tunic. I'm gonna go ahead and ask some of the locals for a lead. You guys stay here. He sprinted towards the orgy. Zephos looked over at Eri and rolled her eyes. Is he gonna be okay? Yeah, he should be, as long as he can figure out how to work his saber. Zephos bit her lip. Well, I'm something of an expert on space sabers, so I'm gonna go make sure he can get it up. She began to then sprint towards the orgy as well. Suddenly, they heard a loud, "Whoa!" followed by what sounded like wet rags plopped on a tarp at high speed. You know that sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. My rags! My precious rags! Ragfucker had followed them down the sci-fi slip and slide. He frantically gathered up his things and then dashed to the cooler of Gatorade, placing his mouth directly on the tap. His bloodshot eyes turned to Nova and Iggy, who were eyeing him with disgust. Apologies. Ragfucker pulled a rag from his pocket and began to wipe off the tap. Better, yes? Nova yelled out after Ari and Zephos. Hey, come back! That little Ragfucker guy showed up. Let's maybe ask him for more help before we start poking around uninvited in any blood orgies. Zephos and Ari skulked back, visibly disappointed. Zephos glared at Nova and muttered, "Cock-blocking wench." Nova turned back to Ragfucker. How can we teleport from underground? You promised we could find a way in dark. A way through the dark, yes, Ragfucker knows this. You must seek the professor. He will know. He knows many things. Things of teleportation. Things of escape. He has lived here in the City of Dark longer than any. He must have indeed been a good man, if he still doesn't feel completely ruined after so much time among these ruins. He has machines, oily machines, with many rags. Sometimes he meets with this one and gives gifts of oily rags. He gave this one his name. Take us to him, dwarf man, Zephos commanded. The five of them then held hands like a procession of kindergartners, with Ragfucker taking the lead. As they walked, Ragfucker pointed out some of the most popular sightseeing spots in Dark. First-time visitors to Dark should definitely stop by the famous non-stop Dark Monk blood orgy of Dark. Zephos and Ari nodded. Nova noticed this and bitterly quipped, It'll still be there later. Suck it up, princess. I intend to, Zephos growled as she gazed longingly at Ari. Ragfucker continued. And, that's where I like to go for lunch. They make a rat meat and spider leg sandwich that is just heavenly. Iggy88 scratched his chin. Oh, you have a cafe down here in Dark. Not a cafe, really, but the people who live there will do pretty much whatever it takes to get me to leave if I just sit in front of their house masturbating into an oily rag.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. Past the orgy, and past the home of the devastatingly traumatized sandwich makers, they finally approached a much more solidly constructed building. Completely non-crumbling, and with a distinctly science-y feel to it. And this is the professor's laboratory. This is where we will find some more oily rags. Ari interrupted. You mean we will find a way off of Zen? Yes, Ragfucker waved his free hand dismissively. He then scampered ahead quickly and knocked on the laboratory door. Yes? Just a minute, a voice called from inside. Moments later, the door opened, and a kindly old cyborg greeted them. The cyborg appeared to have once been a Grey from the Bland Galaxy. Several parts of his body had since been replaced with crude mechanical implants, including one leg, both hands, and his beard. He wore a lab coat and extremely large glasses. Oh my, Ragfucker, is that you? The Grey cyborg said, adjusting his glasses. Back for more rags, you little scamp. Well, come on in. Who are your friends? These four are strangers to Ragfucker, But they seek your help. Oh, do they? Well, if I can be of any help, I will certainly do all I can. My name is Professor Goofy, spelled with an I. Let's all be good neighbors. Come in. Iggy was immediately suspicious. Why would you help us? Aren't you just another monk trying to achieve balance by ruining your life? Well, lad, I'm trying like heck, but I just can't seem to think of anything evil to do. So, I just stay down here tinkering with my portal technology. Hey, is tinkering evil? No, I don't think so. Try to think more like murder, rape, slavery, betrayal, interracial marriage. Oh, have you tried robbery? Harry suggested. Oh my! Well, I'm afraid I'm not quite cut out for any of those sorts of things. But one of those doesn't seem to actually be evil, though. How about we make you a deal? We will help you become a little bit more evil, and then you can help us teleport off the planet. Oh, that sounds perfect. Ragfucker, thank you so much for bringing these kind folk to me. Ragfucker? Ragfucker? Now, where did he run off to? The sound of sloppy wet rags getting fucked could be heard off camera. Everyone rolled their eyes and shrugged as Iggy88 played a laugh track through his mouth-based speaker. What will it be, old one? Have you anyone you want to murder? Ziphos said, brandishing her space saber again. Maybe we could start a bit lower and then work up from there. Maybe robbery? If that's good enough for you, it's good enough for us, Nova said. Ari, the professor, and everyone but Ragfucker, who was balls deep in rag, stepped outside and surveyed the madness surrounding them. Might be hard to rob people down here, actually. Does anyone even have anything at all of value? Iggy asked. Well, there is this young couple of monks with a decent supply of rat meat and spider legs nearby. Oh yeah, Ragfucker told us about them. Should be a pretty easy target. Here, put these on. Iggy88 pulled out some Ronald Reagan masks and distributed them to the group. Oh, this'll be a lot easier with a gun. Do any of you have guns? I've got this one laser pistol, yeah. Are guns evil? The professor asked. Nah, but I'll show you how to use them evilly. It's pretty easy. Oh my, this is exciting! Everyone put on their Reagan masks, and the professor approached the door of the sandwichiers with all the rat meat and spider legs. Hey, can we have some food? No, go away! The couple yelled from inside, terrified that Ragfucker would be there as well. This is perfect. It wouldn't be a robbery if they willingly gave the goods to you. Let's bust in and steal it. This part is really important, Professor, Iggy followed up. You need to point the gun at them and then say, your food or your life. Like this. Yeah, your food or your life, see? I'll give it a try. Can we get this over with? Nova said, finally starting to sober up after like 3 episodes. She had been continuing to drink for a while, but it hadn't been explicitly stated. She's an alcoholic, and that's her character arc. Ari raised his muscular but toned sexy-ass leg and kicked the rotten wood hovel door down. The couple huddled inside. The professor did as he had been told. He raised his laser pistol, pointed it at the couple, and said, Your food or your life? No, eat a dick, Professor, the couple said in unison. What do we do now? The professor asked. I really want to be evil, but I don't think just walking into a couple's home is very evil. Nova clarified. Well, at this point, it is simply home invasion, which is pretty bad. Do you want to keep going? The professor put one hand on his belly. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit hungry anyway, so we might as well get what we came here for. As the royal executioner, I've had to do my fair bit of torture. I bet they'd give us the food then, Harry said helpfully. Is torture evil? I don't think so, Harry replied. But it is effective. Iggy, give me a hand. Pin one of them down, would you? Whoa, hey, we can give you whatever you want. We didn't actually think that kindly old Professor Goofy would rob us, but we totally believe that you guys would. Here, take as much food as you want. The couple, again in unison, pointed to the back corner of the flat where there was a rotting pile of rat meat and spider legs. Hey, Nova said. Ragfucker mentioned something about you guys making sandwiches. Do you have any bread? The couple pointed to the other corner, where there was an oven and fresh bread with a sign that said, Baked fresh today. Okay, Professor, go pick up 2 loaves of bread and let's head back. Mission accomplished. You terrified and robbed a defenseless couple in their home. Yep, I do feel pretty evil. Shouldn't we torture them a bit, though? Goofy said, wriggling his fingers like a cartoon villain. You can do that on your own next time. Harry pulled a small knife out of his pocket and handed it to the professor. I was going to use this to cut off their toes one at a time. After you've had some practice, if you really want to torture someone, make sure you pull their nails off first, flay the skin, and then force them to beg you to cut off their other digits. Nova and Xephos heard exactly what Harry said, but they could not hear the obvious warning signal going off over the sound of Harry's luxurious lats and tremendous traps. Back at the lab, the professor started activating his machines. Can we teleport with these machines? Harry said innocently. No, Jesus, Harry! Nova yelled. For fuck's sake, Harry, would you get your shit together? Iggy joined in berating him. Does this guy not know how teleportation works? The professor asked incredulously. He's a fucking idiot, Nova explained. Wow, okay, no. We are underground? What I have here is a new technology I invented called portals. By connecting to the dark space located directly behind Planet Zen in 9th dimensional space, these portals can be used to send matter to any time or location conceivable. Iggy was stunned. You have time travel technology? Did you think the League were the only ones who could time travel? Assassin? There was a dramatic silence. Iggy and the professor locked eyes. Iggy briefly glanced at the gun still in Goofy's hand. Then the professor just smiled. All right, where do you want to go? Well, Iggy considered. I guess if you can send us back to any space or time, how about this morning at the Galactic Society of Friends? Okie dokie. Stand on the platform. Very good. I'll flip this switch. And then you'll all be completely Warping through a portal is completely silent, sensationless, and completed instantly. Iggy was preparing to make a just like your mom joke when he realized that they had most definitely not been warped to the Society of Friends. Amazingly, and yet for the second time today, Harry was the first to realize. Hey, this isn't the Galactic Society of Friends. The end.
Wow.
Yep.
That was quite the adventure.
Quite the adventure.
Cliffhanger.
Yep. Yep. Just like any classic Disney story.
Yeah, a cliffhanger.
Yeah, exactly. Like at the end of Beauty and the Beast, where the Beast falls off and then you never see him again.
Yep.
Yep. Or was that Gaston.
The end of Lady and the Tramp when they put the dogs down.
That's what this story was like. Thank you.
Just like that.
Yep. Yep. So,
it did involve Goofy with an I, so...
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, who for copyright purposes have to mention.
No, his actual name is Goofy spelled with an I.
Oh.
It's like the whole, all three names.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's got a middle name and a family name. He's got a family.
Yeah. Who are all knockoff Disney characters. Or Merry Melodies. Which one is Goofy? Is Goofy Disney or Merry Melodies?
I don't even know. I think you might be the expert here on Merry Melodies. What is that?
Looney Tunes?
Oh. No. Goofy's Disney.
Okay.
So, have you got a story of anime and love for me?
No. I have a story of teleporting and invading.
Oh. Okay, well, I know my prompt for next time.
Yep. Anime and love. Those will be the prompts when Tomo does an episode. Which I will continue to harp at her about every time I speak to her. Which is almost never.
It's more frequently than my other friends or family. So
fair enough.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. So, what did I name this? I probably should have written it down. Oh, I did write it down. There it is. Never mind.
Nice.
It's not an actual title. It's a sponsorship.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You got a sponsorship?
Yeah, from a pretend company.
We were in on this together. Any pretend money that we get, we're supposed to split.
All right, I will send it to you in an empty NyQuil bottle.
Is this sponsored by NyQuil?
No.
Stories to help you fall asleep.
Yeah, hopefully. Sponsored by the Universal Deliveries conglomerate, transporting your crap to other people on the cheap. I really, really hate the first line of this story, so that's probably why I'm doing this. I'm padding this out so
That's
much.
okay. You've got it.
Yep. Here we go. I guess. Zap. Holy shit, said a presumably startled Ralph. Following...
I hope that he just said zap, holy shit. Like,
no, it was a sound, okay. Zap, and then he said holy shit.
That's okay. I can see why you don't like that first sentence. It's okay.
It's pretty dumb.
That's okay. It's introduction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Following the fame and fortune gained by his murals and outrageously expensive memorial park, Ralph had decided to travel the galaxy. He made a few stops in the obvious places. He went to Rylax 142 to experience the pleasure fields of small rodents and intoxicating vegetation.
Oh.
The translation doesn't do it justice. From there, he had hit up some spectacular ancient cultures that had long ago replaced their ancient ruins with plastic duplicates, so they would stay in the particular decrepit shape that they were in when people decided that they were now notable historical monuments. Then he hit up Vegas. Though Earth was widely looked down upon, everyone knows Vegas is still the best place to go broke as quick as humanly possible. Currently, Ralph was lounging on a beach in the more pedestrian attraction of sunshine and the smell of salt water on a light breeze. Something found on any planet with at least one ocean.
Yeah, but still nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The loud zap was the sound of his mail being delivered by teleporter. It's always a bit startling, as teleportation is usually considered risky. Anytime you dismantle the atoms of an item, then try to reassemble them, you run the risk of putting them back together wrong. Initially conceived as a means of rapid transit, teleportation was quickly deemed too dangerous for living matter. There were some early attempts at moving small animals, but when a newt went through and came out as a dragon with no digestive tract, it caused a massive amount of destruction before finally starving to death. All further plans were abandoned. It was still considered reasonably safe for inanimate transfer, though, so the Universal Delivery conglomerate had pioneered rapid and even less reliable mail service. Ralph had not been expecting any mail, but it seemed to be addressed to him, so cautiously, as I said, teleportation is fairly safe, but you never know.
Right.
He opened the box, and on the top was a letter from Greg. They had not seen each other since they were separated at the mural reveal, and for the most part, the letter was just saying hello and congratulations on Ralph's newfound fame. The very end, however, was the passage as follows. I hope to see you soon. Love, crossed out. Yours truly, also crossed out. Sincerely, again, crossed out. Best wishes, ? Greg. P.S. Hobelploxi has gained the power she wanted and has gone mad. Send help, if it's not too much to ask. P.P.S. Do you think this shirt is too colorful? See enclosed. Ralph pulled out a gray polo with slightly green stripes running down it, though it could have been oddly even staining.
Wait, he sent the whole sweater?
Yeah.
Or polo?
Yeah. Quickly...
I thought it was going to be a picture. Sorry.
No, he sent the whole thing. Because that's reasonable. Quickly he wrote a note in reply. Greg, hey, this shirt is awful. I will dispose of it for you, with fire. And I will see what I can do as far as helping you out with your regime problems. From Ralph.
From?
Yep. So, how do you really end a letter?
I mean, that's how men end letters to each other.
Ralph didn't take to overly sympathetic farewells in his letters. He was pressed for time anyways. And so Ralph traveled to the local post office and had them send the letter to Greg. He paid a little extra to have it sent priority so it wouldn't get lost on the way, as was essentially assumed with the standard service. On his way back to his hotel room, Ralph tripped over a small dog that was clearly doing its best impression of a small monkey dancing with a hat for change.
Yep.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Oh, let me help you up, said the dog. Sorry about that, I was practicing my routine. Oh, well, thanks. Ralph was a bit taken aback. Most species don't look quite like this. He expected larger, more upstanding, or at least standing up. Let's face it, most species look like they could be humans with a bunch of makeup or a few prosthetics on. He had even seen some from the dark zones that looked particularly funky, but in all of his travels, Ralph had never seen a talking dog. This is likely because people don't actually want to know what their pets think of them. It typically isn't as pleasant as most would hope. So early attempts to get animals to talk without evolving to do so naturally were abandoned as creepy or traumatizing. Because nobody really wants to hear a dog's sexual fantasy about your couch leg, nor do they want to wake up to hear their cats debating whether you were dead enough to start eating yet. The dog could see the discomfort on Ralph's face as she helped him up. She said as much. I can see you're wondering who would make a poor dog speak. Really, it's the other way around, though. I was turned into a dog by a little green man in a swamp because he wanted some company, but didn't want rumors spread about him hanging out with a woman all the time. His friends might start questioning his celibacy vow, after all. So the prick waits until I'm focusing on my training, and pow! Fucker made me into a dog. Refuses to undo it. So I've spent the intervening years searching for a way to turn myself back, clearly unsuccessfully. Huh. Ralph was at a bit of a loss, trying to process all of this information. Well, I was just about to get in touch with an old friend to help a different friend with a problem. They have some pretty fancy nanobots that might be able to help you out. Worth a shot, I suppose. And I find that the longer I remain a dog, the more prone I am to blindly trusting humanoids. How long has it been, if you don't mind my asking? It's hard to keep track of time, but I think about 10 years now, when I was 18. It was my progression towards womanhood that prompted the wizard's sudden overreaction.
Ugh.
Okay. Oh. So I was going to go into the relative aging process of humanoids and dogs, and whether she continued aging at which rate, but I can't think of a way to make that funny and not tedious and time-consuming. So for those interested, she ages at a human rate in dog form. Damn it. Why do I do this? I need to stop going away with complete strangers. So that dog mentality getting to me. She considered this for a minute, realized that she did truly want to see if she could find a cure, and so decided the best way to not leave with a stranger was to get to know him. Hey, what's your name? I'm Ralph, you? I'm Foxana. Good enough, let's go. Obviously she's not entirely in control of this impulse. Ralph and Foxana left the planet soon after, though it took some negotiations and extreme impatience on Ralph's part to get past customs with what appeared to be a dog. Even in space customs, workers are jealous of other people's pets, as they don't have the knack to take care of one of their own.
We both really hate airport workers.
Yeah, probably. I don't really have any reason to either, but yeah.
Me neither.
It just seems apropos.
'Cause fuck them, it's true.
Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Get a real job.
After this brief hindrance, they made their way to Ralph's meeting with Thel and Linda. To put the scene in some perspective, Thel is a barrel-shaped being made of a super-intelligent strain of whiskey. Linda is an AI and a vaguely humanoid-shaped meaty carapace. Foxana, the dog, and Ralph is just boring-looking.
That doesn't help at all.
Other than the antenna protruding from his forehead.
Okay, well, most things look human, so...
Exactly.
Human with an antenna.
Pretty much.
Got it.
Most intelligent life looks pretty similar, as intelligence usually evolves from life forms that aren't particularly good at anything else. Humans, for example, not very fast, decent but not great eyesight, poor hearing, pretty breakable, and can't fly or swim, very well at least. The only evolutionary advantage is our ability to outthink other animal life around us, as we have done with particularly brutal efficiency over the millennia.
Holy shit, that's true. Holy shit.
But anyways, Ralph and Foxana arrived at the Paragon offices to meet with Thel and Linda. They were greeted by a particularly grumpy-looking Dombey. He had been demoted to secretary following an outburst that resulted in the demolition of a small forest over the equitable division of nanobots among employees. But we don't need to get into that.
That does sound really important, though.
It's not. Don't worry.
All right.
What do you want? Dombey looked momentarily excited as a small electrical shock was applied as a prompt to what he was supposed to say. Shit. Another shock. I mean, what can someone else do for you? That was apparently close enough for the caller. Yes, hi. I need to hire your company for a couple of projects. What forms of payment are you taking right now? Ralph was trying to get to the point, but then he remembered he had a lot to do, and there was no point in rushing. Yes. Can I talk to Thel? Ralph and Thel had met at a group therapy session for people with issues coping with a suddenly very public position. It is said on Earth that everyone will have 15 minutes of fame, and, not wanting to be outdone, the saying in the galactic community is 15 years of fame. Some people just can't handle that sort of attention. Thel arrived to a warm greeting from Ralph. Oh, and you've gotten a dog. I told you companionship would be good for you. Oh, yes, well, actually, Thel, this is Foxana. Foxana, Thel. Hello, said Foxana. Hello, replied Thel. No, wait. I can't. Who made you talk? That's just cruel. We can fix this. No, someone made me a dog. You've got it wrong. Everyone gets it wrong. I want to be people again. Oh, okay. Well, I think we can manage that. But first, I will need proof. I can't just go around turning dogs into people because they promised they really were one. And how do you suggest I prove this? A simple math and spelling test should do. I have one here somewhere. Well, Fuckyou, and 1 + 1 is 2. She held up her paws menacingly, or what would have been menacing had they been hands, but in this case just kind of looked like she was injured in some way. How about that, huh? Oh, well, that's actually exactly right. How did you know? I hadn't even given you the paper. Being a dog lends a sixth sense to be able to judge and, if desired, do anything that would impress a human, no matter how mundane.
Maybe she should stay a dog.
Maybe. Except then she might die in a couple of years. Who
Still
knows?
True. Except that you said she was aging at human
Yeah,
rate.
but she doesn't know that.
Oh. Well, if only she could hear the omniscient narrator.
Alright. Do you have a photo of the person you were so we can start programming the nanobots? And so, with a picture kept under her collar, they began the transformation. It would take about a day. Ralph had spent this time watching Dombey test the limits of the electrical behavior reconditioning unit until, as one would expect, he came to enjoy the shocks and retired to the back room to test other things that shall be left to the imagination. And for those of you with no imagination, or who don't want to have the rude things you are thinking on your own conscience, he was grabbing the company cat and shocking it as well as himself. There, now the blame is mine and mine alone. With Foxana turned vaguely human, Ralph needed to enact his plan to save Greg. So my plan, basically, is to flood the planet with a virulent strain of rabbits that will quickly ruin crops and distress the economy with an excess of very small fur coats. Then we can bring you guys in to round them all up and smuggle Greg out in the process. There was an awkward silence. Unfortunately, said Linda, we don't want to risk anyone finding out that we seeded a planet with an issue only we could fix. That would not portray our company in a very good light. But don't worry, I have a better plan. You could just take him away from the planet, or you could make it safe for both of you to be there again. Oh, and how do you propose we do that? Interjected Ralph, needlessly, given that she would likely have explained more thoroughly anyways.
It's for pacing.
Exactly. I will tell you if you stop needlessly interjecting. What we should do, continued Linda, fucking finally, is take your planet back by force, or more accurately, by assumed force. You see, we have these clients.
Oh.
They used to be doomsday machines, but have recently taken up sport hunting. So if we can convince them to go on a holiday to Hadroxia to hunt some of those lovely wolf-haddock hybrids you have there, then we can convince Hobelploxi she's being invaded. I can see no possible way for this to go wrong. And so, the plan was in place. Everyone agreed this was the superior plan, and set about their duties, as will be explained more thoroughly next time. Bye.
but not the end.
No, just bye.
Bye.
Bye. I feel like more stories should be ended with bye, not the end.
I don't know. Fortunately or unfortunately, best joke of the episode.
Yeah, probably.
Full of twists and turns, but it brought back all of my favorite people from many different stories.
Yeah. Added a new character.
So that was very exciting.
I was excited.
Actually,
I didn't like that story very much, but
I am excited to have your characters interacting with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. No, some of the characters I quite enjoy, but
it's just that I have characters and I move away from them at certain times and then come back when I feel like it. So
yeah,
Fair enough. Mean, yours
is definitely more of a one long story than mine is able to be.
Yeah.
I tend to have episodes now and then like this one where if I'm using the same characters, I kind of just get lost in like scene transition, which was what I felt this whole episode ended up being. It's like just one long, kind of boring transition from one point in the story to the next, which I didn't really like writing it. I didn't really like reading it. I didn't really like this episode, but, it had a few decent jokes, but
I guess it felt kind of like a middle chapter in a book where not things are being developed and put in place for later that are more exciting.
Well,
and I guess that is kind of the difficulty of writing a longer story.
Yeah, I was trying to get to the actual invasion part, but I felt like I needed more setup, and otherwise I would just be throwing random characters together and putting them in a situation which I didn't feel was quite right. But so I did a bridge episode, and I didn't think it was very funny, but yeah.
I know that I was laughing a lot, so I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But I can understand how you feel. Just some things need setup.
Yeah.
And so, kind of related but kind of off topic, the movie Hot Fuzz, which felt like a whole movie where they were trying to get us to a point where a bunch of police officers could have a shootout with old people.
Yeah. In a
that
city.
Was hilarious. That was hilarious, but it took an hour and a half to get to a point where we would believe that they would shoot at each other.
That's true.
Yeah. So
that is great.
Maybe this story was like the first hour and a half of Hot Fuzz.
It could very well be. I do like my next episode a lot better. So
yeah. What are the prompts for the next episode?
Mine was lasers and yours was cold.
Cold. That sounds sci-fi to me.
Yeah,
I think.
Sometimes science is cold.
Like cold steel or the cold depths of space.
Yeah, I think I definitely went for the cold depths of space. Like 2 episodes from now. I think I ended up doing the same thing at the end of the next episode as far as my prompt never worked its way around to being in that specific episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you've done that a lot, where it's been like one prompt now, and then one prompt in the next story, and then one of the next prompts in that one.
It only happened a couple of times. It was this episode and the next one that happened in. So I guess technically it's over the course of 3 episodes it happened, but...
Yeah. Maybe I just feel like it's more often because I listen to the story and then I listen to it later when I do the editing. That
could be. It also might have happened before this. I don't really remember because I don't listen to the old episodes.
Oh.
I mean, I do when we first put them out to see how horrible I sound.
No, that is an important note, and that brings me back to voice acting.
Yeah.
Because
gotta make it come full circle.
You gotta listen to how you sounded, how it comes out, so you can take mental notes. Yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah. Mental notes.
Yeah.
I will.
Mental notes, or sometimes physical.
I'll take a mental note to not forget that, and then I'll forget that. And I won't do it, because I'll have forgotten.
Well, then I don't believe that you made the mental note then.
Yeah, I probably didn't.
Alright, well, listeners out there, you guys make a mental note to check us out on Twitter and SoundCloud, where you can read for updates on the newest episodes of Basically Sci-Fi. SoundCloud, where we upload the newest episodes for the most easily listenable format. And then check out our old episodes on YouTube, which, are there.
For some reason.
For some reason.
I typically listen to them on YouTube, just because it's...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't have the SoundCloud app, because my old phone didn't have access to that app, and I keep forgetting to download it on my new phone.
Thank you guys for listening.
Or not listening.
And...
Thanks anyway.
Or not listening. Thank you guys. Thank you for running this audio in the background while you do something else.
Hopefully, you're reading something better.
I mean, something to inspire you to do your own writing. And,
Yeah.
Not have to listen to other people tell you stories. Get your shit together, audience.
Dumb fucks. Maybe cut that one. Maybe cut a lot of this post-episode chatter. Is this why we went to fucking 2 hours last time?
No, last time we actually talked about the writing process.
Fuck that.
Thank you guys very much for listening, and see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.